Our honey flow had just started. The first clover were popping up, so it was time to take a peek at everybody and see how they were doing. Since our packages were our babies, I always like to start out on the inspections by taking a look at them and seeing how they were doing. I really have been impressed by these two packages. There was a couple of questions I had on the first colony when I first put them in, but they seem to have their act together better than our old guys, at least so far. Well now, we got some guys that have just come upstairs. That's good news. Take a look right at this. Going to try a little something. Someone had posted a suggestion with regards to crazy comb and using a block of wax to treat the comb. Maybe I should have melted the wax first. Well, I guess if the comb hadn't been mounted in the frames yet, I might have had more success, but there was really nothing coming off of this block of wax that was sticking to the comb, so it was worth a try. I don't think this is going to work once the wax is in the frames, but it was worth a try. They are starting to draw, our packages are starting to draw out. That's wonderful. Except, of course, for this. This is the case where they were drawing normally. But then decided to do that anyhow. I'm very hands-off on these packages for now. I really want to see where they go on their own. This is now our Troy hive. All I want to see is what's happening upstairs with those eggs. Yeah, I'll look for a lesser drawn frame here. Try to lighten up the spacing a bit. See what we got. Population has dropped off on these guys, so I hope we do indeed have that laying queen in here. I'm seeing a concentration of bees over here, so we should be nearing what might be a brood nest if they're doing that. Drone cells, cleaned out cells, honey. That's what we wanted to see. We have larvae, we now have capped brood, we have eggs. We have a queen now. This hive is down in population, but they'll do just fine. Take one more frame out. They just love to get into that swarming behavior though. They barely have a new queen, and they're already putting in cells and getting her to try to lay. There's got to be a genetic predisposition to swarming. They have plenty of room, plenty of resources. They're not cramped. Pretty good laying pattern. And there is the queen. There she is, moving around. I'll try to put a little pointer on the video. But that's wonderful. That's what I want to see. Queen, eggs, Troy is back in business. On to our quarrelsome hive. This is the one that we found 2 queen cells in last week. I doubt at this point in time we'll have a laying queen. Initial impression, the bees are quieter. That's a good sign. For those who may not have heard me say this ad nauseum in previous videos, you can really tell a lot by the noise the hive is making. When they're queenless or in distress, there's a rustle about the hive that's kind of loud. These bees are definitely more mellow than they were last week. So I'm taking that as a good sign. Getting cream out. Resources. And yes, our smoker has drifted off and is smoking me, as usual. Wouldn't want things to be. A couple of drone cells here and there. That can be a red flag. If you have a non-fertile queen that starts laying, you got problems. If you have laying workers, you even have more problems. Another random drone cell in the middle of things. Resources. A couple more random drone cells. A nightmare is when you have laying workers. A problem is when you have an unfertile queen. Both can be very difficult to rectify. It's time to go to the bottom. Take a look around. Lots of resources. I may shake this one and put it in our nuke, because I'm sure they need a little food by now. Although I didn't think there was a good chance we had a laying worker. Laying workers are very problematic because the bees almost accept the laying workers as a queen and therefore do not accept a new queen when you put it in the hive. Very tricky to unwind that and get a hive right after the workers start laying. Our cells have emerged. Well, we certainly could have a virgin in here. Good resources on this one. You know what? This is the one I'm going to steal from them. Since our nuke hive that we set up the other week did not have any workforce, I wanted to move over some resources so they won't starve. And if that experiment fails, we just move the frame back to this hive. Make absolutely sure we don't have a virgin queen on this frame. Just a solid frame of honey. We're going to go over to our nuke for a moment. The good news is they did not abscond. They're still in here. A bit of water in this colony. I don't know. I do want to change them over. Problem with these wax boxes is they collect water. So I may come back and just give these guys a real hive. So there's every possibility that this hive has a queen in it. But finding lone drone cells like that are a big red flag. So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna give these guys a proper box. To do that, we're gonna move this to the edge. Drop in a bottom board. Drop in a deep. Well, this deep has a block in it. It actually is more of a nuke. And we're going to put a reducer on this. This deep is designed to fit a feeder jar. We're giving them 4 pounds of honey. So we're just going to stick an empty jar in there so that they don't start coming up into this area and doing crazy stuff. The same sequence they were over there. Big batch of honey, which we'll put over here. Our last frame of resources. Actually, you know what? I'm going to switch this around so it's facing the colony, or facing the brood nest. And then we're going to move over. Do we see a queen? We released that queen in there, but we don't know whether she took or not. It's so hard to say. I saw what I thought was a queen. However, our virgin was so small it was very, very hard to tell whether that was just a drone, a worker bee, or what have you, and she disappeared real fast. They seem kind of happy. Even reviewing the video, it was hard to say exactly what I saw. Maybe one of you guys will see her. And they seem very much clustered to this side. Cover. Outer cover. And a little bit of weight. So the game plan would be this. I would come back in a week, and at that point in time, I want to see eggs, larvae, jelly, something in the cells that tells me that the queen has actually mated. Queens can fail for a number of reasons. They can fail to get fertile, they can fail to take a flight due to weather, or they may just be defective out of the cell. After all, this one was climbing out of the cell when we got her out. So next week, if I don't see anything, then I'm going to recombine this colony with the other colony, whether there's a virgin in there or not. So these nice guys might be queenless, but they seem very calm, which is a good indicator they might not be queenless. As they say, tune in next week and we'll find out.